Live from Studio 3, this is Packaging Today with Evelio Mattos, Adam P, and Cory Connors.
Wow.
Wow, hear that crowd just going crazy back there.
Thanks, Chuck.
That's right, Chuck.
Really?
Chuck is back.
Wow.
Nice. So we got Paul coming in already. We got Fred Richards. We got Hugh. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you guys already jumping on in the comments. Let us know where you guys are listening from. It's always great to see how far this show goes. We're getting, we get people from all over the planet, from Utah, from Oregon, all the way to Arizona. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Oh, not now. Charlie, not now. I said.
Simmer down, Chuck.
Dang it. I thought.
That's right. We got this new producer. He's terrible.
You can send him an email, charlie@ncasemedia.com. And if you have any problems, he's the guy.
Yeah, for sure. So we got a couple, you can check us out on these podcasts. You got me, Evelio Mattos, on Unbox, Packaging Unboxed podcast. You got Cory at Sustainable Packaging Podcast and Adam at People of Packaging Podcast. Plus, you can find us on the TikToks and the YouTubes and the Twixes, whatever you call it, Twitter, X's,
Twixes,
whatever.
I like that.
Find us there. I stole that from Adam. Yeah,
I was pretty happy about the Twix reference. It felt good. Felt solid.
I like
yeah,
Twix.
good stuff, man. So
Unlike
what do we got?
Charlie's-
What do we got today?
We got lots to talk about. We got some gum packaging. I think that's a great idea. I think I've been an avid gum chewer for many years, and I think it's exciting to talk about the different alternatives to the less than sustainable options out there. And we're going to talk about Pack Expo and our live event on stage. Just, what's that, 15 days away, something like that?
Yeah, it's like right around the corner.
Hello,
It's
go
crazy.
for it.
We got people coming in from all over the place.
We also have California.
Mm.
We also have a guest speaker on today,
We do.
which is going to be great. And then next week, if you're in Sandy, Utah, which is where everyone wants to be, on the 6th of September, I'll be speaking at the Commerce Catalyst Conference. Very alliteratory.
The Catalytic Converter Conference. That sounds good.
It's not.
Sounds
That's not it. That's not it. It's not the Catalytic Converter Conference.
Oh.
The opposite of that.
So these are entrepreneurs that would want to go to that, Adam?
It's
who would be interested?
e-commerce companies. So we'll have from big, big-ish companies. So Kizik is going to be there. We've
Nice.
got who else? I'm trying to remember. I think Purple Mattress will be there. Yeah, I love those Kiziks. I think we got some folks from different. What is the name of the wallet company? Somebody put Threads in there and it was throwing me off, which I'm not on. Don't follow me on Threads because I'm not on there. I'm just on Twix.
That's right. There's a fake Adam Peak on Threads.
There probably is. There's a Scottish rugby player on Threads named Adam Peak. Super
All right. But today we got some high speed stuff coming. Some fast pace, fast car talking. Mike Ferrari.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I got terrible jokes today, but we got Mike Ferrari coming up with the high speed take on sustainability, some end of life stuff, and we're gonna bring him up. So, any Ridge Wallet? Is that what you're talking about?
What?
Ridge Wallet.
Oh, sorry. No, it's not Ridge Wallet. I have the wallet. They're in Utah. They're amazing. So Colby and Mackenzie Bauer, there's the people who owed it. Why can I remember your name? I'm so sad right now. I have my sad face. That's better, Charlie. Better timing.
Is it Cotopaxi?
A little earlier. It's not Cotopaxi.
They make wallets.
It's all right.
All right.
Love you
All
all.
right. Well,
Michael,
missed
the
it.
conversation is going nowhere fast.
We got to bring Michael up and save the day here.
Yeah.
Well, sorry for last week. Technical difficulties to the audience, those that came on. But I will say nothing better to start the week than by trash talk.
Hey,
Boom. I love it.
Well said.
So, Mike, give us a quick 30-second rundown on who you are and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So I've had a great, blessed 32-year career with the Procter & Gamble company. I was the one making all the packaging materials across all material categories. Had a great career, 32 years. Also ran Europe, Middle East, and Africa during that time as an international manager living in Germany. And upon retirement, really wanted nothing to do with sustainability because it wasn't taken seriously back in the mid 2000s. But
Right.
the world has changed, and here we are. And about 4 years ago, have really brought some ideas that came out of the University of Florida on changing recycling and adding to recycling the ecosystem, and held a couple of conferences, and people stepped forward from the packaging industry and started what is today the Consortium for Waste Circularity. It's a nonprofit, 501c3 as of last year, and elected me as president.
Hey,
and also Paul Unruh. Yes, it is Thread Wallet. So thanks for the threads in the Thread Wallet. That was a company I was trying to think of.
Dude, how could you say? How could
I
you
don't
say?
know. I don't know.
Threads threw me off, but I don't remember the name of the wallet. You like literally said
brain
it.
was expiring. Okay, just give me a little bit of grace. Michael, I remember we met through Dr. Bruce Welt at the University of Florida, and that had, I can't remember time. I can't even remember names of things that have the word in it. But I feel like it was 4-ish years ago, maybe.
That's right, very early.
Picked it up, and it's been encouraging and neat to follow the progress. I'm sure it's not as fast as you would like, but probably if you look back 3-4 years ago, you'd say, wow, we've actually come a long way.
Absolutely right. There's been great progress. People are starting to understand there really aren't very many alternatives at all to solving the comprehensive problem.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Mike, can you tell us about your organization and what you do there?
Yeah, so the consortium basically has a vision of really categorizing all waste as bad, not just what we read in the media that only plastics should be banned or are bad, but it's all waste. The founders, the sponsors, the members of the organization are all in support of promoting transforming all landfills and incinerations. So this is currently accomplished through funding R&D, education, and outreach at both the University of Florida, but also York University in Canada. Both professors there have been great in contributing to solutions and behavioral understanding of how consumers take to, and also politicians and others take to the understanding of a lot of the technical terms in waste.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, so you mentioned incineration, and you talked about recycling and landfill. So, when doing an LCA, is incinerating trash better than recycling?
Great question.
Oh, no, not at all. Not by far. Incineration basically is burning, and any time there is incineration of burning, there is the giving off of CO2. Now, unfortunately, it's often disguised as, waste to energy, but that's such a small byproduct that it's really misleading that we're creating lots of energy. We're really burning it and putting CO2 into the atmosphere. So we're trading one problem off and creating another.
Yeah, because looking at a couple LCAs, the incineration came out better because of that reason, right? Because of the energy creation, where the amount of energy that it takes to recycle and the full process of, like, if it's aluminum and burning that down, turning that back into something, it's like the amount of energy required for that process, the full process, versus the incineration. In Europe, incinerating actually is almost almost a zero versus the amount that's used on the other end.
Well,
And it was unexpected for me.
Yeah. Well, it really depends on the material class. You know,
Yeah.
if you're looking at mechanical recycling, that would not be the case on the LCAs. If you're looking at metals or glass, that might be true. But metals and glass can be recycled forever. So why should we burn them and turn into the toxic fumes that it provides? Yeah.
So
Sure. And that's, I think.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Adam.
Well,
I was just going to say that's the question, right? From a consumer perspective and from a design perspective, is making those decisions. If brands today are like really focused on on reducing their carbon footprint, then in those cases, it may make sense to do the incineration, or, and it's not really, and that's the thing too, is it's not really up to the brand to choose what happens at the end of life. It's what's locally available to the consumers wherever they're at.
Right.
But it just seems like a challenge. Yeah.
But brands can influence what is done because at the end of the day, it's their materials. So they are responsible in many ways, because they're selling it, they're making it, they're selling it, they're putting it out there. And then you have a responsibility to end of life of that material.
They can encourage on their packaging. Is that what you're saying, Mike?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also fund, various and put support behind the right things happening.
Right.
Yeah. And I will add one other piece to, like, incineration and landfills, is if you've seen any of the NBC did a great piece about now I think it's 2 months ago on following trash, and there's a real environmental justice issue behind people living, and the inequalities of folks that are living by incinerators and landfills.
No doubt. Hey, before we get to Ryan's question, I thought maybe it would be a good idea to walk us through kind of what it is. I was fascinated when I first heard of it. This idea that the problem I don't think is necessarily, chemical recycling versus mechanical recycling versus incineration.
Absolutely.
It's that what is at the back end of waste has to have value. And that was what really attracted me to what it was that you were doing. Was it seemed like there was value that's being created from the waste that we're creating that could then turn into more valuable stuff. So I think it'd be helpful for maybe the three of us, and also the dozens of people, maybe hundreds, dozens of people, thousands of people.
Charlie,
people. How many people are watching?
Bring in all the people.
You don't know? You're worthless. You're absolutely worthless. So maybe just walk through what the process is that you're highlighting.
Would love to do that. That's a great question. Great way to start. Evelio, can you bring up the slide I have on RRG graphic?
Yeah, give me a couple seconds on that.
Sure.
Well, let's go ahead and get started while I get there.
So the whole idea is, number one, is to locate a whole new downstream recycling technology that we refer to as RRG, regenerative robust gasification. And I'll describe what that is. But basically, it's at a high temperature gasification, and gasification has over the years really evolved. It started in the 1800s creating syngas for streetlights, but today has been used to make chemicals that we all consume. And at the temperatures these vessels are, by taking all organics, everyone, whether it's food, carton board, paper, mixed materials, layers, plastics, as long as it has a carbon and a hydrogen, those will basically come apart. The covalent bonds will separate, and the graph will show this, and turn into what's known as syngas. There's no smokestacks. It's a total carbon capture system. And the syngas is made today, every day, although it's made from fossil fuel. Syngas then is a building block for many other chemicals. And we espouse that if you use the syngas to make methanol, methanol is the basis for many chemicals, but especially plastics. So once you make plastics, you then have the circular economy, because that plastic will then become waste, and round it goes again back into the gasifier. So when you have something like a flexo plate, there we go, flexo plate on the upper left-hand corner there, which is basically a material that cannot be recycled today, or snack chips, which have aluminum on the inside and plastic on the outside, or other coated materials. All of these can be separated. If there's metals in it, it'll fall to the bottom and become vitrified slag, which I'll talk about in a minute. And the rest goes into the syngas. And again, it's total carbon capture. So that's the beauty of this in a real nutshell. Methanol can be sold as recycled content when it comes from waste, in this case. And what comes out the bottom, the vitrified slag, can be used in the abrasives tool industry, making asphalt, concrete. It has some other byproducts. And then this is for all of the materials that end up at landfills.
So in case you're wondering, Evelio was in a heavy metal band back in high school called Vitrified Slag, which is
That's right.
I was gonna say
really
the same thing.
the circularity is coming back.
It's mind blowing.
It was crazy.
That talk about circular.
Yeah.
It sounds like a retread. Okay.
Boom.
Boom.
Thanks,
Again.
Charlie.
Charlie. He's just back there on threads.
We got to replace him.
I do have one other slide that really then completes the question that you started, Adam. And if you could bring up the arch slide, this graphic will answer a lot of what was asked about earlier. And that is the entire, I think of what we have today, the infrastructure, as the recycling ecosystem. But the problem is that it's not making significant progress in recycling where we are today. And so we need a new playbook. And the playbook that this graphic is suggesting is the addition of the regenerative robust gasification technology at landfills as a keystone technology. So this does not replace the others. This is going to make all the others work better, and it's going to be complete. And this is the one that's going to really move the needle to get us to having zero waste, because things can then 100% be recycled. The things that aren't recycled today can be.
Got it.
So how is this being done at scale today?
Yeah, great question. So today, let me start with there are laboratory units, which Dr. Bruce Welt at the University of Florida has been helping people test their difficult to recycle materials, and every one of the tests have turned into the creation of syngas. So it's worked, and people have become believers when they see. Then there are pilot scale units around the country. And the most interesting one is in 2022, a commercial unit started by the airline industry, Fulcrum Bioenergy in Reno, Nevada, for the creation of waste to syngas, but for the making of bioaviation fuel to fuel airlines with basically eco fuel, has been in operation. So that really proves the technology. Again, as I mentioned, the technology has started from the 1800s, and it's just been evolving and evolving. So it's all the way to a commercial scale.
Okay, so what if syngas is released into the atmosphere from John Papp?
Good question.
It's the EPA declares syngas as something that is inert is not dangerous to the atmosphere.
And is that I never did much in chemistry, so I'm curious. Is that because when is it methanol when it's created? When it's in the atmosphere, does that not contribute to global warming, or why is it?
No, it's hydrogen, and hydrogen is not contributing because it's not CO2 and it's not methane. Those are the two harmful gases that contribute to climate change.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then
the
just
U.S.
going back
government
to
is using this on some of the large ships that go out, aircraft carriers, because they go out for months and need to do something with the waste other than dump it into the ocean, and they just release it into the atmosphere. They don't need energy because they've got a bunch of nuclear power on board.
yeah. And just going back to Ryan's, we're starting to get an echo. It's starting to grow in here, so let's get through this pretty quick. Ryan's question here: how serious is waste diversion compared to GHG reduction?
So, if I understand the question properly, waste diversion, meaning recycling. Recycling can certainly cause us to be responsible. I'm not in the camp of are we going to reverse climate change, but should we be responsible? And this is a way of being responsible, is to divert, and going back to the arch of having all of the recycling ecosystem deal with all the materials that we're creating, would be the most responsible we can be. And that would at least take care of the impacts that we're making through packaging and products.
Very interesting. Thank you, Mike. Really appreciate you coming on today.
Glad to be on.
How do people get involved?
Yeah. So this is a great question, and I've got one more slide, which is contact information. The Consortium for Waste Circularity should be an add to every company's sustainability strategy, because it deals with the true end of life. Just dealing with alternate materials is not going to fix things. It's going to be incremental at best. But there's certainly a lot of LCAs that indicate that plastics is the least impactful to the environment. Anytime you move away from plastic to other material classes, these 73 LCAs have certainly indicated that there's a more harmful impact. But wastecircularity.org will get you to the website. My email address to contact me personally is contact@wastecircularity.org. And again, this is a great ad, and you'll be with a great group of people, of founders, sponsors, and members that have come on board for this great goal and comprehensive work in recycling.
I love it.
Thank you, sir.
There we go. Yeah, please take a snapshot of that. There's a barcode there.
Yeah, there's a QR code. You can just hop on here and get to it. We'll leave that up for a second.
Appreciate that. An interesting one. Every time I hear that potentially we should have bans on plastic, it's I was just a real fun fact is that blood bags, things that are on hospital shelves waiting for emergencies, they're made with PVC. PVC has enabled blood to be stored for 42 days. All alternative materials that have been tried to replace PVC have significantly reduced to 42 days. So clearly, plastics add to society. We have to figure out, and we have an answer here through the Consortium for Waste Circularity on how to deal with that responsibly.
Wow.
Great points. Thank you, Mike.
Certainly.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mike. Awesome. That was great. It was good. It's always great to bring up new guests, introduce them to the crowd, I think if you've got questions on, just pretty much overall anything on the end of life of packaging and what can happen to it, kind of what's happening in news today, you can definitely reach out to Mike. Follow Mike for sure here on LinkedIn. There's a lot of stuff here. We got everybody saying thanks, Mike. They all share quite a bit of context with you, so pretty good. I think we got a picture here. Opening this up here, let's see. I think there's a picture here of exactly what we were talking about with what's happening and taking this trash and turning it into fuel. This is pretty crazy stuff. I can't believe it that we actually got a photo of it in action. But
What is Charlie's doing every day?
This is
That's
Charlie's work. All right, just turning this trash to fuel. I mean, they made a movie about it already. It's pretty mind blowing.
Well done, Mike.
Check it out. Absolutely.
I watched that last night with my kids for the first time. What a great movie.
Dude, it's amazing. I just watched Still, which is the Michael J. Fox.
That was good.
Yeah, that was really good as well. So
You guys are so much better than me. It's crazy. Like this young guy.
You're even an hour ahead. That's how young you are.
That's how young you are.
I don't
Wait.
Boom.
I don't think it works. I don't think it works.
That's how it is. That's how. So congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So what do we got going on? We're wrapping up here. You can check us out at Pack Expo.
Yes.
Coming up
2 weeks.
September 11th. If you catch us on, you catch us at the show. I've got a thing. First person to walk up to me with a packaging unboxed tattoo. It's $100 to put on the craps table with me. So
Done.
let's see it.
I've already got mine. Yeah, I'll have some kids books there. I got on Canva the other day and made some shirts, and some people were pretty excited about those. So got some shirts going out to people. I just love that I can have an entire wardrobe of things that I make for not much money. Like Canva has really opened up my eyes to the fact that I don't need Nike and Under Armour.
No.
I can just have packaging stuff.
So
So
I've got like 20 of these. I
love it.
interchange from gray to black every day.
we'll have some stuff. We'll have some swag at the show. Please come check us out at with Jay Quinn. Jay Quinn, what is it? Jay Quinn Buy Plastic Live Fantastic. I think this is thing.
Born in
I think
plastic.
I was born in NevadaPlastic.com.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he's got
That's
that.
the website.
But it's gonna be great fun. And like I said, if you're in Utah next week, please come on out with the co-founders of Thread Wallets. Thread Wallets is the
Well done. Good recovery.
Thank you. I really
Good stuff, man. Yeah,
pulled
well,
through at the end.
Charlie will edit that in. Oh, real quick, man. One quick thing. I'm gonna bring Mike back up here because, well, hang on.
Jake packaged. That's what it was.
That's what
Hey,
it was.
Jay Quinn, my man.
Yeah, we will definitely take a lot of video. I know you eat a lot of gum, Cory, or chew a lot of gum. Maybe you eat it. I don't know. Chew it.
I don't need it.
We've got Orbit's packaging. So this is the pack of the week segment. We'll be a little bit better with Charlie's getting on a new jingle for this. But like, all right, so you go from this plastic container. It sounds like I got maracas over here to this like paperboard pack.
Yeah.
Like what are your takes? Is this more sustainable? Is this less sustainable? I'm gonna take you down, Mike, because that echo
Got the echo back.
It came back. I'm sorry, Mike.
I like the paper option. It's really interesting. Easily recyclable curbside, I assume.
No,
No, it doesn't say that.
I would be surprised.
It's 90% paperboard.
Okay.
I don't know what the 10% is. It doesn't tell you.
So what I've done, instead of buying more of these plastic containers, I buy these refill bags, which are a flexible packaging solution. A lot less material, and then I recycle them through TerraCycle. So it's a lot less material needed. I reuse these as many times as needed, and then I refill them, simply. Then I can carry them in smaller containers. Like I have like a tin that I use for shows, so I don't have to carry something this big or this big. But I think this idea of bulk packaging is really an innovation that we've needed, and we need to embrace, because this stays fresh with a zip lock at the top, and is a great alternative to something like this. Although this can be recycled, and so can this. This is a significant reduction of material needed to ship and package something like gum.
Paul Unruh right now is jumping for joy. He's so excited at the
Thank you, Paul.
Conversation. Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Honestly,
yeah, I'm kind of with you there.
I buy. I don't need bulk pack gum. I tend to just buy the small paperboard. I love the Trident one where it flips down, and then when you're done with that, you can tear off the bottom, and then it folds back onto itself. I think that's pretty great.
Those are cool.
So from a gum packaging segment, sponsored by Trident.
Hashtag.
Yeah. With Big Red. That was Big Red. That was not Trident. Dang it. But yeah, I mean, the paperboard versus the rigid plastic, to me, I'm sure there's some study out there that says that one is better than the other, probably brought to you by the people who make the plastic or make the paper.
Yeah.
And it's probably the same footprint. It's probably going to end up in a landfill. Nobody has answered for me how that is sorted at a material facility, because paper tends to need to be flat to be sorted the paper waste stream. So if somebody knows how the spiral paper tubes get sorted into paper, maybe there's near infrared sorting technology that I don't know about, but it seems like those, even though they could have value in recycling, end up in the landfill along with their plastic. So I don't know. That's my very uneducated take on it.
I mean, most of the stuff is going to get flattened out through the process. Just like if you do that, if you watch that video, the walkthrough of that MRF, kind of how the packs get all flattened out through the process. But this one, I don't know. It's bigger than your fist, so chances are this will get separated properly. It's 90% paperboard. I'm sure there's some kind of plastic layer on the inside of this, but it'll probably still get separated with paper. This one, it just depends on where you are and what's going to be recyclable or not. But it kind of goes back to the conversation of that we've had in the past of the paperization of packaging. Like, just because it's plastic doesn't mean you have to replace it with paper. Cory's got that stand-up pouch. I'm not a big fan of those because they're not available to be recycled everywhere. But you can mail those in to TerraCycle. Somebody's asking about Paptic. A lot of the companies I've talked to in the US, a lot of them won't accept Paptic. But then Paptic's also not food safe. That's the other challenge too. Is if you're having direct food contact, you're going to have some kind of a barrier layer in there in order to protect that product.
Yep.
It's a big discussion.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. So, if you want us to take out some packaging, or if there's anything you're curious about that's out there, send us a pic. This one's brought to you by the Hive Principle. Fred went ahead and sent me some packaging to take a look at. I appreciate it, Fred, because we're always looking at what's happening out there in the market and what's, what are consumers actually dealing with. So,
Yep.
Appreciate you guys joining us. If you have any questions for Mike, Adam, Cory, or myself, keep putting them in the comments. We'll keep checking it out. And we've gone a little bit over. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll see ya.
Live from Studio 3, this is Packaging Today with Evelio Mattos.